Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Before I get into today's hot topic, just a quick update on the channel. There'll be no, obviously, Premier League preview on Thursday. Normally, we do the midweek fix on Wednesday. That's going to be coming to you Thursday because I'm off to a gig Wednesday evening. So I'll be back for Thursday doing that live. I intended to have a few days off during the international break after what was some fantastic scenes after Norwich and Wolves and support for the channel in that time as well. So I want to, send my love and gratitude for that as well. But then, of course, today we had some news on Raphinha and his potential exit of Leeds United. So I just wanted to update you guys. I know you'll have seen the news already, nothing new here. But it's just to give you my thoughts on the situation on Raphinha and his links to Barcelona. So just to bring you up to speed, for anyone who is not up to speed, Barcelona have been working on Raphinha as a summer target for weeks. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano. When it comes to transfer news, he is the oracle. He's the oracle. He's over the likes of Phil and Graham. He's the oracle, genuinely. And to be fair, Raphinha is the name and in a big list of players that would be happy to join Barcelona. And I know Leeds fans might not want to hear it, but of course he'd be happy to join Barcelona. Leeds United are struggling, relegation, Premier League, Barcelona are an elite football club. So, of course, he'd be happy to join them. And apparently talks have already started with his agent, Deco, who's very close to the Barcelona president, Laporta. And nothing has been discussed yet between the two clubs. But apparently Raphinha is happy to make that move if indeed it can happen. And to be honest, guys, I'm resigned to the fact of sort of losing Raphinha, if I'm being totally honest with you. And I genuinely feel that any funds that are brought in from Raphinha will help with the overhaul of the squad. That's definitely needed. And we need to bring in specific players that are more suited to the Jesse Marsch system, like a Brendan Aronson, for example. And, Raphinha has been very, very good, of late. But what I will say as well, there's less of a reliance on wingers in Jesse Marsch's system. And our best player, being Raphinha, is a winger. And if indeed, the club are looking to sell their asset, I'm sure they'd maybe rather keep him. I'm not too sure. Maybe they are thinking in the back of their minds, look, we can get good money for him and we can look to bring in players that are more suited to the system. And as I said, since I do feel that Deco's been up to some underhand naughty tactics. I do feel that. There was talk of potentially him signing a new deal. That's gone very, very quiet. He went away with Brazil and came back a totally different player for me. It did feel a little bit like he's had his head turned slightly. That was just my thoughts. Of course, we heard about Bayern Munich being linked, but that would only be if they can, move on the likes of Coleman or Gnabry, if indeed they sign new deals. We then heard Chelsea and more recently Barcelona. And when I heard the Chelsea and Barcelona, I think to Deco, his history, where was he as a player? Is he touting his player out to these other sides? And ultimately, look, that's the job of Raphinha's agent, and Deco's in it for himself as well. Like, it's his job. How can he, move on a player and get money, because we know agent fees, etc. So Raphinha could be classed as his cash cow, if you like. I don't know who else is on Deco's books, but Raphinha will be right up there because he's right up there anyway. Especially when you consider how much of a commodity he is in terms of teams that are down there like us. Look around, no one has a Raphinha among the teams at the bottom. Burnley, Maxwell Cornet is decent, but he's not on Raphinha's level. Who've Norwich got? Rashishka, nobody. Watford, you could say Sarr, but again, I don't see them being on Raphinha's level. And I'm just looking at where we're at currently now. So, of course, Raphinha is someone that is gettable for a lot of these elite squads, because there's much more different if Raphinha's already in an elite squad and Barca are trying to take him from a Liverpool, like we've seen with Coutinho, for example. The amount of money there and what's needed is astronomical. But when Raphinha, someone of his levels at a lower Premier League side, it's much more easier for these teams to to come in. What's quite interesting though, apparently, look, and again, I'm not privy to this. I can only look at information that we know of. Like, there's talk of a release clause. I seen weeks ago about there being 2 release clauses, one if we go down, one if we stay up. And now, apparently, in the latest article that's been reported in Spain, that Barcelona are looking to replace Ousmane Dembele. We know that, that's been a fact. And they look at Raphinha as an option. Now, what they're saying is apparently there's a release clause of 80 million euros, which equates to about 66 million. I've seen online 72 million as a release clause. These sort of figures, which are in the ballpark. They're in the ballpark that I would be wanting as a fee for a player like Raphinha. And when you consider we paid 17 million for him, it's amazing, really, the turnover that we'll get from that. But I don't quite believe there is a release clause. Like, I just hark back to previous articles. I remember, quite some time ago that Phil Hay had said there wasn't a release clause, or he wasn't aware of any release clause. This was back in this time last year, I think, when he said at the time he wasn't aware of any release clause. Now, as far as I know, Raphinha's not signed a new deal since then. So nothing's changed. So all of a sudden, when we thought we were getting relegated, there's all this talk of him leaving, which I understand. Or when we're in the relegation talk and someone say we're still in that, we're not out of the woods yet. But all of a sudden, there's these two different release clauses, yet this wasn't a thing before. And as far as I know, he hasn't signed a new deal. So when's this release clause being brought in? Or am I just, I'm not privy to them conversations. There was someone on the 21st of March, just yesterday, Bruno Andrade, a reporter from Portugal, who basically was saying that Raphinha's turned down Leeds' first offer to renew the current contract that lasts until 2024. And apparently one of the reasons that he turned this down, again, we don't know if this is true or not, but one of the reasons is that he wanted the release clause, currently set at 70 million euros, to be reduced so that the likes of Barca, Bayern, etc. come for him. But that's never going to happen. I don't know how much truth is in that. Look, Bruno Andrade has 61,000 followers on social media. But not that followers are any sort of barometer of who you are. I mean, anybody can get a verified tick these days. But yeah, I mean, he's saying that he's turning down a new deal because he wants a reduction in the asking price. But Leeds United aren't going to get into any sort of conversation if they know that player comes, I want you to reduce my asking price. It's like, I know there are teams there that want me, so therefore, reduce it, I'll sign it, and then I'll go anyway. It seems a bit of a mad one, that one. But look, yeah, the article that's been reported in Spain as well, apparently they're saying, look, Raphinha has ignored all calls from Leeds to extend his contract. He has no intention of staying. He knows the likes of Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Barca are after him, which, look, totally get that. And I do think he will leave. I do. But, Barcelona apparently don't have the fees that are required to trigger this exit clause anyway. If it is believed to be true, and there is one, which, again, I'm still not quite sure there is one, which seems madness. But apparently they're asking that it be lowered to 35 million. Which, if that's genuinely the case, then he's not getting sold to Barcelona. That is as clear as day, because Leeds United would not accept 35 million for 35 million euros as well. Like, that equates to less than that as well. So let me just check that, like, euros in pounds, just to check. Yeah, 30 million, less than 30 million on the current exchange rate, guys. I think it's a mad one. I do think it's a bit of a mad one. So, first of all, I don't believe there is an exit clause. I don't. I may be wrong. I'm not privy to any sort of information, but I don't believe there is an exit clause. If there is, people would have hit the button. Phil Hay said there wasn't one. Like, I remember him saying it. Like, I let me find the article. I need to find the article. This was back in March 2021, where Phil Hay claimed there are clauses in Raphinha's contract. However, he wasn't aware of any buyout clause. So it's mad to now think there is. When did it come in? Because in order for there to be changes to a contract, then surely there would have to be a new contract. unless one of them clauses were after 2 seasons we can then add in a buyout clause. I don't know. Look, I'm only guessing. I'm only guessing. What's clear is though that Deco and Raphinha are definitely pimping out. Like, it is what it is. We know this. We knew this would happen, and I'm sort of resigned to the fact. Adam Pope reported about this Spanish article saying, look, apparently his buyout's 80 million. That's around 55 million euros above what Barcelona can afford. So they're nowhere close to it. They're nowhere close to it. Barcelona are working on it. Fabrizio Romano has said as such. Dembele is looking to leave him, looking to leave Dembele is looking to leave Barca. It would make sense, for them to be in the market for a new and improved right winger. And Raphinha is that, inside forward. And he's on the list. Deco pimping him out, close friends with Laporta. It just makes sense for probably Raphinha, for Barcelona, for Deco, and if the money's right for Leeds United, because let's not forget we paid 17 million for him, paid 17 million for Raphinha, and he could go, 60, 70 million, 55 maybe. But yeah, 60 minimum, 60, 70 million. You paid 17 from it. It's top markup. It's great work. It's great work by Victor Orta and the club. And then that money then needs to be reinvested. You can buy Brendan Aronson for it and still have change. A lot of change. And we need to look to the future and the overhaul of the squad. And Leeds United aren't cash money rich, and this is something that we have to get used to. I do believe Raphinha will exit this summer. I don't even want to get into the Calvin conversation, but he stays. He stays for me. I've said that for a long time. I said this at the start of the season, that we get one more season out of Raphinha, maybe another out of Calvin, and then we'll assess the Calvin scenario, because Calvin deserves to play Champions League football. Calvin deserves that. Raphinha deserves that. Raphinha will want it sooner than Calvin because of his, allegiances to the club is nowhere close to where Calvin Phillips's are, and that's something we have to accept. And I think if Leeds fans don't accept that, then maybe you are, you're only going to be upset, because Raphinha, I believe, look, come the start of next season, Raphinha won't be a Leeds United player. Where would I want him to go? I'd like him to go to Barca. I'd like him to go to Bayern Munich. I don't want him to stay in the Premier League. That's just my own selfishness, because I don't want to see him pulling on another team's shirt and scoring goals past us. I do believe he would be very respectful towards us. And if he was to play in England, I don't mind Liverpool. That's my personal opinion. I don't like Chelsea. I don't want him to go to Chelsea. I don't want him to go to Man United, etc. So let's just get that out of the equation and let him move to Spain. Let him move to Spain and Barcelona. I can enjoy him from afar on the El Clasico and him ripping it up and be like, that's the boy. That's the boy. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're my thoughts on the Raphinha situation. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Thank you for watching. As always, smash a like on the video, and I will see you all very soon. Thursday night live, actually, for the midweek things. And we'll see you then. Peace out. Leeds.